whole world came from one person.
Correct. Correct.
So the power of the individual. Good morning. In this week's parsha, we have the idea of responsibility that we all have for each other.
Right.
So there could be one person does a sin, and when everybody has the ability to say something to the person who doesn't say something, they're all held responsible. So you could have the whole community could be punished for the actions of one individual. But great day. But with that being said, the Rabbeinu Bachaya says the whole community could be saved because of the actions of an individual. If actions of one individual could bring down a community, because the community did not just stood by and didn't take responsibility for him and help him be a better person. So if he could rule, if he could create destruction for a community, so to speak, a punishment for the whole community, certainly one person's actions save a whole
community. I don't get the sense that people really understand the first thing.
The idea is this week's parsha discusses the idea of arvut, which is responsibility.
Right.
The idea that the level of responsibility is so strong that if you see me, chas v'shalom, doing a sin, and you don't say anything to me, and you're capable, you could say something to me, and you don't, you have that sin on you. Not only the sin is my sin, it becomes your sin. Because you are capable of stopping me from sinning. And you did not use your abilities to help me stop from sinning. So therefore, it's as if you sinned. And it's as if, and that person who could have stopped and didn't stop the person is going to be held accountable. That's a level of responsibility that Hashem has given all of the Jewish community. That's why there's a halacha Friday night. You go ahead and you say Kiddush, right? Let's say someone comes in afterwards, didn't hear Kiddush. You can say Kiddush again.
How can you say person can say it?
Same person can say the same Kiddush again. How could you say?
Even though the blessing of the wine is conscious.
Right. So how could you say the kid? Right. You said the kid. How could you say it again? The answer is because you're saying Kiddush for a person that's obligated in Kiddush, right? Who are you saying Kiddush for? You're saying Kiddush for an adult. Meaning you said Kiddush for yourself and you fulfilled your mitzvah of Kiddush. But now someone else comes in. You have a responsibility to make sure that that person has Kiddush, says Kiddush. He has an obligation to say Kiddush. And therefore, you have to go ahead and technically he could say his own Kiddush, but you're allowed to say another Kiddush. And it's not a blessing in vain because that's why you come here, right? That's what I tell everybody, right? Because that's because you have to make sure you have responsibility to help make sure the person doesn't sin, that he fulfills his mitzvah. And therefore, you could go ahead and, just like a person blows the shofar once, like he blows for himself, he fulfilled his mitzvah shofar, and then he goes to blow for another person. But you already did your mitzvah. How can you blow again?
But there you're not making a blessing.
And many say you can even say the blessing.
Oh.
Maybe some might say better let the people say the blessing, but there are many that will say that they will say the blessing again. Not if they're blowing for women, I'm saying, because women have no obligation of blowing the shofar. The custom is that women hear the shofar. So therefore,
so the spark it's a custom and no blessing.
There's no blessing for the women,
right.
And right. So that would be the situation when you're blowing for a woman. But if you're blowing for another man, technically you could say the bracha again on the shofar. Good morning, David. David, are you going to be around for the after minyan or early schedule? Okay, no problem. And that's the level of responsibility. You could say 100 kiddushim. You could say 100 kiddushes Friday night. That is the level of responsibility. Okay.
Well, my understanding is that's not the case with
Havdalah, if it would be for a man, good morning. If it would be for a man, it should be the same thing for a man. For a woman, it's a question if women are obligated to have Havdalah or not obligated to have Havdalah. So therefore, it's better for a woman if the man already filled his mitzvah of Havdalah, Ashkenazim would say, let the lady hear from somebody else who didn't say Havdalah yet, or another man, or let her say Havdalah herself. But the lady say the bracha herself. That's now the Shulchan Aruch, interesting, says the first opinion is that women are obligated in Havdalah. What I recall, his first opinion is they are obligated. Second opinion he brings down is they're not obligated, and therefore, out of concern for that second opinion, that's why, if a man already filled his obligation, he will not say it for a woman. But Kiddush, which a lady is definitely obligated, there's no question a lady's obligated. A man can say Kiddush as many times. Okay. Okay. Let's get to the Gemara. So we're now Lamed Aleph of Beis, 31b. We introduced yesterday the idea, we're still in the search of what is Takana number 9. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said, the Gemara said that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted 9 enactments. And 8 of the enactments was, everybody agreed what the 8 were. The big question is what's number 9? There's a dispute whether number 9, what number 9 was. So that's what we're up to today. We are on 31b2. If the second Beit HaMikdash. So
at this point, the Mishnah.
Correct. The Mishnah already had been written, and we want to know the Mishnah was written during the time, but the Mishnah does discuss destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. The Mishnah was written during that time period, So the Gemara says, the Gemara says the following. Now, Papa, we're on 31b2. We said it's a machlokas or a Papa Nachum Yitzchak. Well, Papa says Kerem Ravai. It was regarding something to do with the produce of the 4th year, which we spoke about, right? The first 3 years is Arla. First 3 years you can't use the fruit. The 4th year, the fruit has to be taken to Yerushalayim. The 4th year of a new tree, right? Once you pass the 4th year, that law doesn't apply. Then there's other laws. But the 4th year of the tree, you have the mitzvah of Kerem Ravai. If it's a vineyard, you have to take the grapes to Jerusalem and eat it in Jerusalem. And it has certain laws of holiness. And that's the law regarding a vineyard. What about other trees? Other trees is a question. The produce of other trees have the same law of like a vineyard, like grapes? Or is it a special law regarding grapes only? Everybody agrees the grapes have to be taken to Jerusalem. The 4th year, the whole produce, everything, all the grapes that grew in the 4th year, the total produce of the 4th year of grapes, they brought to Jerusalem, eat in Jerusalem. The question is, like I said, what are all other trees? Does it also have that same law? The 4th year of other trees have to be brought to Jerusalem or not, and eaten in Jerusalem? And the Gemara is going to discuss what was the enactment about. And another rabbi said, it had to do with certain the piece, the strip of the red wool by the Beit HaMikdash on Yom Kippur, which we'll discuss now, about the first thing. Now on the bottom column, on 31b2. Papa Kerem Ravai. We learned in the Mishnah. Kerem Ravai Ha'il Yerushalayim. All produce of the 4th year from the vineyard, they would bring to Yerushalayim. And now the question was, and it was Mahalach Yom L'Chosad. Wherever from where did they bring the produce? If you were within 1 day travel of Jerusalem. From wherever side of Jerusalem you are, north, south, east, west, go a day's travel. However long a day's travel takes, the produce that was grown in that area between Jerusalem and a day's travel, that produce cannot be redeemed. you would have to actually bring that actual produce to Jerusalem. You know, we said about Maisa Sheni, the produce of the first and second year, you take 10% to Jerusalem and you eat in Jerusalem. But outside Jerusalem, if you find yourself outside Jerusalem, it's hard for you to, it's hard for you to carry all of it. You could go ahead and you could redeem it.
Wait, take the entire crop.
Again, the
That's just
Maisa
10%?
Sheni is 10%.
Right.
Here, this is now. The Maisa Sheni in a 6-year cycle. The first year of the 6 years, you take 10% of the crop to Jerusalem and you would eat it. Now, if you're outside of Jerusalem and it's hard for you to carry, the Torah says you could go ahead and redeem it onto a coin, specific type of coin, and you redeem it on a coin, and then you go ahead and you take the coin to Jerusalem. You add a fifth. It's interesting. You add a fifth. It's just that a man has to add a fifth if he redeems on a coin. A lady doesn't have to add a fifth if she redeems on a coin. You have to add a fifth, and then you bring the coin to Jerusalem, and then you buy produce in Jerusalem with that coin. You can even buy sheep and cattle, food items, with the coin, mainly food items with the coins, and then you eat it. Then you eat those foods in Jerusalem. That's what you do with Maisa Sheni. And here, regarding the fruits here of the 4th year produce of the grapes, if even though you were outside Jerusalem, and if you want it, good morning, they said if you're outside Jerusalem, if you're within 1 day's travel, they said then you should not redeem it. They don't want you to redeem those grapes if you're within 1 day's travel. And what's the reason for that? The Gemara will explain. The Gemara says like this. The Gemara says, Kerem Ravai, the grapes that grew in the 4th year of the vine, if they're within 1 day's travel, like we said, you would have to bring those actual fruits. You would not be able to go ahead and redeem them, even though on a Torah level, morning, Jonathan, on a Torah level, you're able to redeem all grapes that are outside of Jerusalem, that grew outside of Jerusalem. On a rabbinic level, they did not let you do that. And the Gemara says, this is the boundary of what is that 1 day travel? Eilat min hadarom. You could go up to Eilat. From the south, there's not Eilat that we know about Eilat today. It's the Eilat that's close to Jerusalem.
I was going to say.
It's Eilat from the south. Akrabat min hasafon from the north. Lod min hamayrav. Lod from the west. Yarden min hamizrach. And the Jordan, from the east, those are the boundaries, the Jordan River to the east. So those are the boundaries. Good morning, everybody. That you within those boundaries, you cannot redeem it. You have to go and bring it, the fruits. Why was this? They wanted that there should be a lot of fruit in Jerusalem. It's an honor for Jerusalem to have a lot of fruit, and because they're bringing their actual grapes to Jerusalem, they're not going to need to buy those produce from Jerusalem, but they're bringing their own produce. And therefore, there's going to be a lot of food in the market, right? If you go ahead and you redeem it onto money and you buy the grapes in Jerusalem, so then it'd be a lot of grapes will be consumed. There won't be so many grapes on the market because they're being consumed from all that money that you're spending on the grapes. But now that you bring the actual grapes to Jerusalem, so you're not buying out the stores because you brought the grapes. So there'll be a lot of grapes in the markets of Jerusalem, and that's an honor for Jerusalem. There should be a lot of produce on the market when you go to a place like when a store is full. What? Great inventory to help, and that's the honor for a place. You have a beautiful. Okay, have a great day, everybody.